agreed on most of them, I would say, a couple of big ones.
The night was tense. The auditorium buzzed with energy as thousands of eyes locked onto the stage. On one side stood Donald Trump, confident, bold, and unshaken by years of political battles. On the other stood Jasmine Cocket, a rising name, underestimated by many, but determined to make her voice heard. Nobody in that room could have predicted what was about to unfold. What happened that night wasn't just a debate. It was a showdown that would send shockwaves across the nation. The cameras zoomed in as Trump adjusted his tie, flashing the same smirk that had carried him through countless battles before. His body language screamed confidence. Jasmine, in contrast, stood poised and calm, her eyes locked on Trump with unwavering focus. The atmosphere was thick with anticipation. Everyone knew this wasn't going to be a polite back and forth. It was going to be war. The moderator cleared his throat, his voice steady but heavy with tension. "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's debate. Let's begin." And just like that, the first clash began. Trump wasted no time. His words came quick and heavy, layered with sarcasm. He called Jasmine inexperienced, mocked her ability to lead, and laughed off her presence on stage. He had been here before. He knew how to dominate the spotlight. The crowd reacted with gasps, some even cheering as Trump delivered his first blows. But Jasmine didn't flinch. She leaned forward, her voice sharp and precise, and fired back. Her words weren't just answers, they were counterstrikes. Every statistic she dropped, every fact she laid down, turned Trump's arguments on their head. The audience erupted in applause. For the first time, Trump's smirk began to fade. This wasn't the easy battle he expected. Minutes into the debate, the tension grew. Trump raised his voice, trying to overpower her. His tone became louder, his gestures sharper. Yet Jasmine stood her ground, refusing to be silenced. Then came the moment that shifted everything. She looked him straight in the eye and said, "Mr. Trump, America has heard your promises for years. But what they want tonight is truth, not slogans." The line hit like a thunderclap. The crowd exploded with cheers and applause. Even the moderator seemed stunned. Cameras zoomed in on Trump's face, catching something rare: a pause. For a brief second, the man who always had something to say stood silent. The energy in the room shifted. Jasmine had landed her first major blow. Trump tried to regain control. He launched into a fiery defense, pointing to his past victories and his leadership experience. His loyal supporters in the audience cheered him on. But Jasmine countered every point with precision. She didn't just argue. She dismantled his case piece by piece. Her confidence grew, her presence filled the stage, and with every passing second, the crowd leaned more and more in her favor. Then came the mic drop moment. Jasmine leaned into the microphone, her voice steady but carrying the weight of conviction. "You built your empire on power and fear. But leaders don't rule with fear, Mr. Trump. They inspire hope." The room froze. Silence washed over the audience for a heartbeat, then erupted into a standing ovation. The crowd roared so loudly that the moderator had to call for order. Even Trump's expression shifted. It wasn't anger, it was recognition. He knew that line would follow him long after the debate ended. As the night drew to a close, the stage told the story. Trump walked off first, his usual confidence replaced with frustration. Jasmine followed, head high, her name already trending across every social media platform. Clips of her sharpest moments flooded TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram within minutes. Headlines the next morning declared the debate a turning point. Analysts replayed her most powerful lines, breaking down the silence that followed, the crowd's eruption, and Trump's uncharacteristic pause. For Trump supporters, it was a biased stage, an unfair fight. For Jasmine's supporters, it was the victory they had been waiting for. But one thing was undeniable: the showdown had captured the world's attention. Donald Trump versus Jasmine Cocket wasn't just a battle of words. It was a clash of visions, a test of strength, and proof that no voice, no matter how new, should ever be underestimated. For Trump, it was a reminder that his dominance could be challenged. For Jasmine, it was the night she proved she belonged on the biggest stage of all. And for America, it was the showdown nobody expected. But nobody will ever forget.